Hi, in this video, I'm going to show you um, how I'm using Jamboard in my remote learning classes. And I'll say that just quickly that my remote learning classes are only really 15-20 minutes long in terms of teacher explanation, and the rest is tasks. But I really want to engage my pupils. I want to find out what they know. I want to find out what they've learned. I want to be able to support them if there's any misunderstandings. And I felt like Jamboard is a really good thing to do for this. So a couple of ways around Jamboard. You've got the set background option, so you can change your backgrounds if you like to. I found these to be fairly limited, so what I've done is created my own image and then uploaded to that so that it's a background, and I'll show you how that works in a moment. But down on the left hand side, you've got these floating tools. So you've got your pen, which you can write on. You can change, if you just keep your pen on there, you can change the type of pen and the color. So if you want a highlighter and green, you can now highlight. If you've made a mistake, you can rub that out nice and easily. And again, you can change the tips and color for that. This is just an arrow selector. This is my favorite tool, the sticky note. And again, you can change, press save, click away to come off of there, and you can make that bigger or smaller. You can rotate it as well. All right. You can duplicate to make it easier. You can add an image down here. You can draw a circle, and you can add a text box, or if you just want to highlight something, you can draw and as a laser, and after a few seconds it kind of disappears. So if you want to highlight something without actually annotating anything, you can do that. Now let me show you how a couple of ways I've used this. I'm still learning how to do this, but one of the good things that I've tried is using it in terms of a little bit of an exit kind of survey. And so I've got this kind of 5 scale. So on a scale of 1 to 5, how well did you grasp this concept or understand this topic? So I would share this with pupils. So make sure that I have clicked on anyone with the group or in this group or anyone with the link to be able to edit. Otherwise they won't have access to it. And then all I will do is say to the pupils, okay, if you have understood this concept, you're going to take a post-it note, you're going to double click on it, you're going to put your name, and you're going to then drag it to the column that you think your name should go. And that's a really, really good way of just saying, all right, show me on your way out, just show me how you think you've done. And we will kind of get that concept of an exit survey. A couple of other things I've done that have been pretty successful, pretty good way of just engaging pupils is currently right now teaching program music. So I created a background on the planets, and the 4 planets that we were looking at in some detail were Mars, Neptune, Venus, and Jupiter. And I've asked pupils in my assignment to add a post-it note with one thing that is featured in each of those movements of the planets. So we've talked about it. I've taught them over maybe a couple of weeks, and now I'm asking them to feedback. So they are, again, I've shared it with them in exactly the same way, and they've kind of, rather than just use a piece of paper and say these are the features of this piece, they're working collaboratively all on this one Jamboard. And so we've got a number of different pupils adding at the same time, maybe relating to the elements of music. And building up an idea of what these pieces are like. Uh, and so that's one way of just interacting, engaging. I've also done one on year 9 British rock music, and so this is another Jamboard. This is an example of one they've actually done, or actually in the middle of doing. So I gave them a playlist, a YouTube playlist of 57 Merseybeat tracks, asked them to choose 10 and listen to 10, make notes on those 10, then to take 4 of those 10 and to fill out something that is true about each of those 4. Now, obviously, with a class of 30, you've got potentially lots and lots of different songs that they've listened to, and so what I've said is, if it's already there, so chorus, if it's already there next to song 1, don't do it again. So I don't want 30 choruses. Once you see chorus appear, leave it so it's there. And so these are what is unique to each of those 4 songs at the moment. They're still working on it. But then after that, what I'm going to ask them to do is I'm going to ask them to move a post-it note, one of their post-it notes or someone else's post-it note, to the middle, so that we get an idea of what Merseybeat actually is. So we might have chorus move to the middle. We might have no fills on the drums, which I'm not too sure is true, but let's leave it there anyway. Repetitive rhythm, lyrics, let's have it there. We have definitely got a bass. We've definitely got voice in there. We've definitely got lyrics about their life in there. It is a fairly medium pace generally. And so what we're doing is then building up this idea of what Merseybeat generally, or is generally true about Merseybeat. So that's kind of like an analysis of a whole bunch of different songs, but the genre as well, in terms of a generalization. Then another one is Star Wars. So I create a background Star Wars, and I've asked them to annotate the soundtrack of Star Wars and write on here. Initially, they were using the post-it notes to just put these anywhere. So what is true about the Star Wars theme? And then what I asked them to do was to ask them to divide it into 2, what they know and what they don't know. And so the things that they don't know, they didn't know what quartal harmony was. They didn't know what dissonant chords were. They didn't know what a march was. And so once something appears on the right hand side, they weren't allowed to move it to the left hand side. They just had to leave it there. And so this isn't finished. I would assume at some point overture is going to move over there as well. Disjunct melody might move over there as well. And so that kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm thinking about what do they know, and they're telling me what I know as a group, as a class, but also they're engaging in the listening in a way that is not writing or annotating the score. They're using this Jamboard together, and so all of my pupils are adding to this Jamboard all at the same time. And so that's how I've been using Jamboards, and to good effect in my classroom, about some AFL tools, just feeding back on what they know, what they don't know, and engaging pupils in real time.